And now it's time for the lightning round with Brad Butt. Brad, are you all set to go?
Yeah, let's roll.
All right, Brad, the Prime Minister is over in Europe this week at the COP26 Climate Change Conference. Lots of announcements coming out of the Prime Minister's office about predictions and commitments. What is the COP26 exchange all about?
Well, this was to bring together world leaders to talk about the impacts of climate change and to get governments to commit to various things to deal with that as an issue. Prime Minister Trudeau has kind of upped Canada's game a little bit, announcing some very significant caps on oil and gas, and then also getting world leaders to agree to having 60% of all the countries in the world have a price on carbon. Quite extraordinary pronouncements from the Prime Minister. Let's see if they can come into action or not, and what the impact will be on business.
Brad, surprising announcement out of the Premier of Ontario's office today about minimum wage. It looks like the magic number is finally upon us. What was the announcement?
Well, yes, the Premier did announce on November 2nd that starting January 1st, the minimum wage in the province of Ontario will move to $15 an hour. This, I can assure you, was without any consultation of the business community. Both the Ontario Chamber of Commerce and Mississauga Board of Trade are expressing concern about how this announcement was rolled out without any decent consultation with the businesses most affected by this.
Brad, especially on the heels of the pandemic. I mean, we've got businesses that are just getting back in the working area. So now this one's a little bit of a shocker. New laws focusing on workers in Ontario. Sounds like the Minister McNaughton's been busy again.
Well, yeah, again, we're up to 4 or 5 different pieces of legislation that have been tabled at Queen's Park to go through to increase workers' rights in many different areas. Someone was joking with me the other day, they're not even sure this is a progressive conservative government any longer. I mean, we're going to have to look at some of these pieces of legislation. I mean, some are about modernizing the workforce, and that's fair game. But again, if we're starting to bring forward legislation that is going to significantly harm the hardest hit businesses during this pandemic, they will not survive.
Brad, there's good news for or bad news for small businesses in the city of Mississauga and Peel region, but good news for everybody else. The rejection of the small business tax subclass. What happened?
Well, the province of Ontario gave municipalities the opportunity to create a small business property tax subclass that would be lower than the commercial property tax rate that a business would otherwise pay. At this time, Peel Regional Council decided not to adopt that. It is a complicated situation because if you lower property tax rates for small business, you have to increase them for larger businesses. So this story isn't over, but Peel Council decided not to proceed at this time.
Well, I'm sure the large businesses were very concerned about this because we sure know that council is not going to levy the balance of any taxes owed on residential. That's for sure. That's all the time we have for the lightning round. Brad, we'll see you next week.
You sure will. Thanks, David.